What is going on, everyone? Tis Miyanovich, and I welcome you to the main dojo, the place where we process the raw struggles of men in an unprecedented paradigm. There is something inside of you that wants you to be more than what you are. But there also may be something inside of you that wants you to go down. And for some of us, that means going down for good. So, remove your ego, drop your bullshit, become vulnerable, and step into the dojo, mate. I want to ask one more question about the physical realm, and then I want to go over into talking about the pit. And I'll say that again because I just went into my mic. The pit and dealing with the darkness and being a human and being, perhaps we can get into the being a male. But this is my question, and this is fun for me. You probably will not remember this, but I have had interactions with you on Facebook and on your YouTube channel over the years here and there where you've responded back to me, but you probably wouldn't remember because, you know, whatever the tens of thousands of people that you interact with. But I enjoyed this. This is one of my favorite Chris Duffin things. So there's the video that you have where you're squatting and you're at your place of business. You're at Kabuki back when you're in Kabuki. You guys are using the monolift, right?
Yep.
And you do a thing. I don't remember how many fucking pounds. It was a lot. And you come up and you're fine. It's time for you to be done. And it's time for the two guys that are working on both sides of the monolift to do their job. And screen left, your right, is a dude in a red shirt, and he fucks it. He fucking beefs it, and you drop the fucking weight and just like walk straight towards the camera and then off, and then the fucking camera fucking ends. It probably wasn't funny right there at the time, but that is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in like lifting on YouTube because of the way that you just like walk off and the camera shuts.
My most viewed video ever is it got memed so many times because it's like for the audience, like there's so many things like I'm trying to get it in the rack and then it's not going, and then the bar like falls to the side. All the plates like start falling off. All of the, there's like 9 of them. Yeah. They hit the collar shatters and flies all in the air. Then the bar flips the other way and there's a bar rack next to it. And then that bar rack starts falling over and there's all these bars. They just start like it just like the bit just keeps like going and going.
It's like the fucking three Stooges or shit. Okay, but my favorite part was this is what I was doing, joking about it. And I didn't see anybody else go with this angle. But because the dude had a red shirt on, I drew a parallel between him and the guys in Star Trek that had the red shirts on that died every episode, right?
Yep.
So what I said basically was, you noticed that you never saw a red shirt guy ever again because he basically got blown up by the Klingons after he fucked up. Like I ran that joke for like a year. Right? Just a little bit on all of the comment sections. So my question is, what happened to Red Shirt Guy? Did you fire him?
No.
Okay.
There was another, so Closetly in a bunch of videos post, he would walk through the background wearing a red shirt. And then finally we got a tank top made that said, it was a red tank top and it said, I had one job, and he's standing behind me. Like, and we never said like, it didn't say anything about it, but it was just like a closet troll in our videos.
I can't believe I missed that. All right. I was just like, the way that your face looked, people don't know that, like, my wife, we always talk about, she's originally from El Salvador and she has like the most profound resting bitch face. And she is so sweet and almost like a total pushover in life. And it's probably why evolution gave her like a giant resting bitch face. Otherwise she'd get steamrolled. Well, Duffin has like this crazy eyes face. Like Like you just got into a place.
Yep.
And you mentioned it on your videos, but Chris looks like he's going fucking psycho, but he's not. He's like sweet, nice guy. He's just thinking a lot.
There's a lot of people that think I'm like just this super crazy intense. My wife laughs about it all the time because the crazy eyes is a known thing. Like it's the Duffin crazy eyes, and it's like don't realize like they're seeing 15 seconds out of the week, and like and it's like if no, he's the biggest fucking teddy bear. Like
right. It's true. He's a super. I mean, you'll hear in the bio that you're talking to a man who, when he was in college, raised his 3 sisters, right?
Yep.
So, this is a guy who has a heart that's big, maybe too big sometimes, and that's one of the questions we're going to talk about too, because you said something recently, and I want to talk about Chris Duffin when he said, "I have a tendency to attract narcissists." I want to talk about that, But Chris does have these crazy eyes, and I brought that up because after the weight dumps and all that shit, and you like walk like towards the camera, you have crazy eyes. And I thought at the time, I was like, I know Duffin's cool, but I bet that guy in the red fucking shirt got strapped to a rocket and just fucking sent out into space.
I didn't say a thing. The thing is, when something like that happens and somebody's beating themselves up, like
they'll do a
there's
worse
nothing
job.
else you need to like. Yeah. It's just adding on. Like, okay. And so,
all right. I needed to know about that. I didn't even know. I knew it had gotten popular. I had seen it memed in a couple places, but I didn't know it like blew up and dude got a T-shirt and
he did end up losing his job like 2 years later for something else. So
okay. All right. Well, we don't need
absolutely nothing related to that.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's shift over because I said I don't want to talk about physical shit. We took an hour, and I don't want to lose you. So I want to consolidate this into the following. You and I have some things in common, and one of those is our upbringings were fucking awful. And what a lot of people don't understand often about awful things is they don't usually happen in a vacuum of negativity that's completely 100% awful. It's surprising how much awesome shit happens while you're in something that is fucking atrocious. So we both have that in common. We have upbringings that were uncommonly bad, but good stuff was happening too. And love was also happening during that stuff. And we also were able to translate that bad stuff into amazing stuff later in life. So like darkness is a nuanced reality is really what I want to say. I guess perhaps for some people it can be all encompassing and drowning and people never get out of it. That's also very real. Perhaps we could make the argument that if you were somebody other than Chris Duffin, things probably would have gone differently because you are born with a rare brain and capacity. But the reality is in your darkness, and the darkness that your story's, I would say it's darker than mine in some ways. There were lethal ramifications for that situation. Like you were in and around death. Yeah. Yep. Things that could have killed you.
Murders, serial killers, human trafficking. Like, yep.
And there are things that could have killed you every day. And there are things that could have killed me many days. And being defenseless children in many ways, it's amazing that didn't happen. Right. Yeah. When I look at your story,
a lot of the people that I grew up, they're not here anymore.
Yes. And you lost your best friend in third grade in a fire. Like, again, we don't have to cover it all because I'll roll some of those details in the intro. It kind of makes you an expert in the field of extraordinarily tough and terrible things. So, and this is like, dealing with the darkness is one of the reasons why the podcast is here, because not a lot of men or people know how to deal with the darkness. And certainly a lot of men when they get into dark places, don't know how to ask for help, right? That seems to be one of the problems with men, is that we don't know how to ask for help, feel overwhelmed, feel stupid and weak, and don't reach out. Right?
And we're taught to do the wrong things. Like, you know, you're supposed to just push everything down, and there's a, you know, not have fear, to blunt any emotions of, like, which kills your opportunity to learn, like, who you truly are, to be able to meditate into why you're having the experiences that you're having and understand the deeper things behind that, which is, I think, helps you understand your values so much better and where you're coming from. And once you understand those, it allows you to build a framework for the life, living the life that you want, to having the impact. When you talk about ripping the space-time, well, you know, ripping the right space-time that is, I have a framework that it sounds simple, and it is simple, but it took me, 20, 25 years to really develop. I call it the 6 Ps, but it's the human development cycle broken down into phases, and the ability to recognize where you're at along those cycles. And it's understand life's going to come at you no matter what. Like, shit's going to happen. And if you're not prepared for it, it can overwhelm you. And if you're not building the resilience, so it becomes around this practiced approach to stepping into things to leverage yourself up. So, for the listener, think about a square root symbol. All right. If you keep stacking a bunch of square root symbols on, one after another, where one ends, the other begins, it's an upward trend, right? And that is, like, if we think about training, that's what training is, right? So when our body, we go in and we apply, this stimulus to it, it overwhelms the body. There's a down period where you're weaker, and then we spring back a little bit more than where we came from before. I mean, it's basic human physiology. So if we overlay that into what's going on in the mind, I break it down into what I call the precipice, the plunge, the pit, the pull, the peak, and the plateau. And the precipice is those major moments in life. And there's there's micro cycles of this, and there's macro cycles of this. But the precipice is this, you're sitting there and you see something that has potential in front of you, that excites you, that scares you, that makes things twist in your gut. Like, you can see the other side of it. You can see that the other side of that square root symbol, that's a peak up there. But what's in front of you is this crevasse, this unknown pit of whatever depth, and you're scared of taking that step. And you can think about big things in life, from reaching out and talking to that hot number that ends up being to making the decision to like stepping away, leaving home, the choice to have kids. Like, now the thing is, those are all biological drivers. There's things there that within us push us to take that step. And you see so many people, once they get past those basic human fundamental biological drivers, don't take that step anymore. And that is, you see this downward trend in their life at this point of, you're in your 40s, you've got some kids, you're not engaged with them, you're at a job that you're not happy with, you're just not doing anything about it, and you're just not in any part of your life happy with yourself, right? And this is where practicing and learning and identifying micro moments of this gives you the opportunity to build like bigger success stories. But this precipice is recognizing the right things. It doesn't mean stepping into every fucking challenge and, that comes your way, but it means picking the right ones and being able to identify that feeling in your gut when it is that mix of like, I'm fucking scared, but I'm excited, because that is the right signal. That signal, when it's twisting in that fashion, and a micro moment could be, it's a conversation with my my boss, a coworker, my wife, so on, that I'm going to put it off. I don't want to do it, but you really want to resolve it too at the same time. Like, that's a big recognizer of a micro moment of like, I don't know how that conversation is going to turn. I could go wildly wrong. You're running all these scenarios in your head, but at some point, like, got to take that step and be in the practice of it. It could be making a choice to go back to school. It could be making the choice to write the liberal
gun owners
right? It
research
could,
project.
Starting the podcast. It could be any of these other things too, right? But once you take that step, you're in this like, where the fuck what have I done? Oh my God. What, like, you know what I'm talking about, right? So that is the plunge. When you're in this whirlwind of like, oh my God, what did I just do? And you're questioning yourself. Am I going to fail? What happened? Like, that's the thing where I'm saying you need to turn into that. And it may be something that's instilling some sadness, depression, shame. You need to meditate into those moments, not blunt those. Why am I feeling that way? So that you can learn a little bit, because that's the opportunity in that moment. So one is recognizing what moment I am in and how do I take advantage of it. So in the precipice moment is identifying the right precipices, learning to feel those right triggers, and the practice of going, I need to go right now. I need to take that step into that conversation, that hard decision, whatever it is, if it's aligned correctly. The plunge is this piece of introspection that's going to help you understand some more depth about yourself, which is going to help you understand more about your values. What is your values? Another word for your values is your intentions. Your values are your lens with which you view the world and which you interact with the world. It is the change that you want to bring to this world. So it's a huge opportunity. But then we get to the bottom, and that's a place we call the pit. And the pit, the goal there is to shorten the time in it, because the pit sucks. The pit's the slog. It's the hard work. It's the brutality of like, you're just in the fucking shit. And a lot of times you don't realize that you're in the pit. You think that this is life when you're in the pit. And this is, so just recognizing that you're in the pit, and it's going to be brutal. It's going to be hard. And you just got to work through it, is just an empowering piece in itself. And once you do that, recognize that empowers you. You can do this first step to get out of that or shorten the cycle, which is, acknowledging and moving that to celebrating. I said celebrate. Go read any famous business story book. I live here in Portland, so I reference Phil Knight's Shoe Dog book a bunch because it takes place in a lot of the same places. You pick any of them. If you're working in an environment that's a company that's been around for 20, 30, 50 years, whatever, there'll be people in there that will tell you about the glory days. You should have been here when. Well, guess what? Any of those books that you're reading, any of those stories in the environment that you're in, if you go back to that moment, those people weren't telling you should have been there. They were telling you, I can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait till we're on the other. This is horrible. This is but now it becomes the glory days. In reflection, it's the glory days. It's the moments life is made of. It's what the book is literally fucking written about. It is the action moment that everybody oh my God, this story, that is it. So the celebrating is going, I am in that moment in my life. I am writing one of those fucking stories, because when I get to the other side of this, I'm going to be so proud to tell this story. I'm going to tell it to my kids, my grandkids, or maybe it's fairly, it's off. You're not going to tell it to those, but you get my point. I think it's, you should take a moment and celebrate the fact that this is something you're going to be so proud of. It's a memory. This is one of the key moments in your life. And now you're going to leverage it. You're going to leverage it because you can go, guess what? I'm feeling this way. It's the pit and all that because I care. This is something I care about. And I'm going to use that because it's going to bring about my best performance. So ACL, you were talking about your knee. ACL, like that is acknowledge, celebrate, and leverage. And then once you've done that and you've shortened that time, then you've got the long pole as you're just climbing out of that. And during the time of that, you're using the skills and strengths and the resilience that you've built from prior cycles and prior microcycles. And that's why it's important to step into correctly aligned microcycles before, because that's going to allow you to pull higher than you did the last time. Where I'm sitting at in life and what I've overcome today, I couldn't have done 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even though I was able to do a lot. I couldn't do because I've continued to build upon that. And then you get to that point, that peak. Now, this also is a great storyline for business leaders because this is how you lead a group. You need to be able to paint the picture of what that peak is and create the pain of the moment where you're at right now so that people take that step. Leadership is being able to step into the unknown and getting other people to step into the unknown to be able to transition, because it is the only path to growth. So you have to paint that picture. You have to paint the pain of the moment and make the gains greater than the pain to get that step and to get that buy-in. And then you do have to spend the time to rest, to recover, and not just keep burning the candle and going, I got to be off into the next one. Give yourself that time to stabilize, to self-care. Just don't spend too long.
Right.
Because if, you know what, you take a weekend off or a week off on vacation, you do something with the family, you come back, you're re-energized. You perform so much better. You've recovered. But if I go to the Caribbean for 6 months and drink Mai Tais on the beach, I'm going to come back and I'm going to be soft. I'm going to be weak. That is the essence of life. So it's not ethereal. This is not like, this is reality. This is the trees that were growing in the biodomes that were falling over that they couldn't figure out for the longest time. Why is this happening? They grow to a certain height, they just fall over dead until they realize, oh, it's because they don't have the wind like hitting them, telling the roots to grow strong and deep into the ground. The elements hitting it and saying, hey, bark, grow stiff and resilient, and literally we die. The essence of life is the push against struggle. That's the 6 P's framework.
Just one thought is that I think there's a part, I know there's a part of the primitive aspect of our brains that exaggerates the things that we perceive out of a need to help us to survive. So let's say we're on the savannah, everything's cool, and we're walking along, we look behind us, and there are some, let's say, saber-toothed tigers, because I can't think of the actually historically accurate animals that would be there at the time. So you turn around and you look, and oh shit, it's saber-toothed tigers. So you fucking take off. And you know there's a tree that they can't get up that you can get up. And you're running for your life, and then you look behind you again, and there's 6 of them. And then you're really like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then you really take off, right? And then you get there, you get the tree, and you get up there, and you look, and the saber-toothed tigers come up. They can't get to the tree. And there was only 3 of them. But your brain exaggerated, right? The brain has a tendency to do that. It has a tendency to make shit bigger than it actually is. And most certainly, when you're in the darkness, or you're in a pit, or you're in a bad way, the brain, in my experience with myself and with other people, is that it makes the darkness seem like it's forever. That's one of the first things it likes to do, is like, I'm never going to get out of this, or this is fucking impossible, right? And I think that's why a lot of people, I think we have a general problem with perpetual adolescence in the species that we're in. And I think that's one of the reasons is that risk to be in the pit, to be in the tough time, and to go, look, I've kind of been through hard shit like this before. I'm just going to face the wave and go. I'm going to face the dark and go. that's not like a natural thing for many people.
No, like I said, we have biological things that push us through the big things in life.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's why most people stagnate, right? Because it's not natural.
Yeah. It seems like, yeah. Why would, I mean, if you can be more comfortable, why? Right. Like if you can still live and still make your bills and all that shit, why would most brains, chemically do anything else? They'll just keep going in the direction that the chemicals want them to go into.
But then then something comes along in life and you see it happen. A family member dies or some tragedy happens and they lock up. They can't handle it. They can't get through it because they don't have the resilience to do so. But you also don't want to be riding that raggedy line. Yeah. Then something happens and it pushes you over the edge.
Yeah. Yes. So here, this is a good question. I think this is an important question because I think people should see the reality of, in one way, you're one of the strongest humans that has ever lived. Others, physically, some would perhaps make the argument that that's also the case internally for you, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, because of your upbringing. I'm sure there are people that have had it worse than you, people that have had it better. What's the furthest point you ever went to in the darkness? So that means, were you ever in the situation when you were younger or otherwise where you felt it was fucking useless and hopeless and you wanted to be dead? You wanted out. You couldn't see a way out. I can't fucking do this. Fuck this. Did you ever get to that point?
I've been in that point many times in my life. I've been at that point many times in my life. That's
like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. But we also have to understand, context. Like, things in my life have been hard and I've chosen a hard life, but also most of my family on my father's side have all died of suicide. My father made, I think, 7 attempts. I witnessed one of those. So that's a struggle I've had.
So there's a genetic predisposition towards like suicidal depression.
Yeah.
Is it just on one side or is it on the...
Just one. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got my biological father's side of the family is the most problematic as well. And, I had to walk away from them when I was 16, 17, because it was a matter of having a good life or not, right? Like, my parents were divorced when I was very young, but I had visitation and a relationship with them. But there's a lot of terrible shit, alcoholism, sex abuse, like, bad, Mm-hmm. So, that's something I always concerned me, was what was getting passed on to me and what was I going to be contending with. Should I even have children? Like, a lot of deep stuff. It turns out really the worst of it was alcoholism was basically the thing they passed on to me, and I just can't drink alcohol.
Yep.
But other than that, I escaped a lot of it.
I think of all the things that I've done, you've spoken very highly of this. The greatest thing that I have done in my life has been breaking the cycle of trauma that's been in my family. That is the thing that I'm most proud of, and it is debt at me with my children.
So I want everybody to hear this, because these are the conversations we have here. Like, this isn't highfalutin YouTube content looking for viewers and shit. I started this podcast, Chris, because in my development circle in the gun company that I started, there's been suicide, fentanyl overdose, and a consistent cascading of problems for middle-aged men who are seemingly not problematic people, right? Like, this is kind of like the cream of the crop of the situation that I chose over a period of 10 years to help me to develop something. And God, Chris, the fucking amount of problems. These men are drowning, dude. And it's too much for one person. And so I was having conversations with everybody on the side, but then still, oh fuck, this guy dies from a fucking fentanyl overdose. Like, so I was like, what can I create as like a meeting stone? So we can have conversations, and not just the guys in my development group, but guys outside too. Anyone can come to and hear grown men saying, look, we're struggling, or we're hurting, or we hurt when we were younger, and it's okay. Like, we can talk about these things. Don't fucking stay silent. So I just wanted to know, that's why we're having this brand of conversation, because my belief is, if they hear Chris Duffin say from his heart, things were difficult, he didn't want to be alive, and you're one of the strongest fucking dudes that's ever lifted a weight, that is very powerful, right? It's very powerful for people to hear that. So to know that masculinity isn't just about like, fuck you, you pussy, which it kind of has been, at least in that's what we pimp, or that's what we've pimped for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. I can't, dude, I can't even imagine what you've been through. Like, having to do what you did, overcome it. Because I feel like I'm a miracle person myself, having to overcome what I overcame. But I look at your story and I'm like, this dude is fucking superhuman. Like, I've never heard a story like yours, man. And anyone that's come close to having that story, Chris, they didn't make it.
Yep.
Or they're wrecked.
Yep.
You talk with your kids about this stuff a lot, like lessons and...
A little bit. It's like, my stuff's out there. Like, my kids have access to my book. They've read it. Like, so we talk about resilience in a lot of different frameworks, and certainly exposed to a lot of this.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you in the difficult place for too long. I know it's hard. It's hard for me. I'm sure it's hard for you. Is there anything about any of that experience or your feelings that you feel you need to say, or have always wanted to say outwardly in public, but have never been on a podcast or in a situation where you felt like you could say it? Is there anything like that?
No, I was just saying, like, that is why I went through, that 6 Ps thing with such a level of passion, right? Because it is the framework that I use to manage those sorts of things, and being able, it's empowered a lot of people to do the same. And it's a lot of why I've written and put out the content that I've done, and been very open and transparent, and doing so, like, I've done so across social media as well. Been very, like, life is hard, and being willing to share that and the hardships that come within it, that we don't see a lot of. Like, a lot of it's the highlight sort of thing. And I think that doesn't breed well when all you look is like, everybody's successful, everything's great. And it's like, man, I'm not like that. Like, life has so many ups and downs. Like, you're not in it. You're not in it alone. You're not in it alone.
So here's one of my issues. My upbringing, and having to grow up very fast also, because of what I was inflected with, or what I had to go up against, turned me into a helper person. We call it in this podcast, the curse of the helper man. So I had a similar thing where, like, because of the way that my mom was, I kind of had to be, I was like morphed into her caregiver, her best friend, her therapist, and instead of like being a normal fucking teenager, which I'd squeeze that in too. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of beer and chicks and sports and shit, but there was also, my psyche was like formed into like, always got to be worrying about helping everything around me, right? Always got to be helping the people. But the problem is that I didn't have a sense of boundary for myself, and I didn't have self-esteem and didn't understand. So everybody that was around me was mostly, they were problematic people, were attracted to me. And I didn't know how to go, nope, not you. I want to be with the fucking mature people. I want to be with the people that's unconditional dynamic, and we're both mature person to mature person. Not parasitic people, not people that are broken, not the only girls I'm attracted to are broken girls, because that also happened early in life. You said, I can't remember what piece of content, but I was reviewing something that you were on a couple months ago, and you said, well, you were talking about what happened with Kabuki, and you were like, I have a tendency to fucking attract narcissists.
Yeah. So it's similar to what you're speaking to this. I think a lot of it comes from, some trauma bonding type issues. But for me, very much having my self-worth, or thinking or maybe not consciously thinking, but my value being wrapped in what I do, like what I contribute to others, the giving, the caring, all of that, which is certainly, you can see that in the outputs of like my performances in life. Like I have to be successful in demonstrating that, for my relationship with my mother, I speak very highly of in my book. She certainly made me a lot of who I am, as far as the resilient side of that and the independent side of that. But also, that relationship, I was proof to her that she wasn't fucking up, that she was parenting correctly, because so what? Everything else is going wrong everywhere else. Like, look at Chris, he's performing. I did good. Right. And so with that, that's been the expectation I've had of, relationships that I've been in, when, with that trauma bonding, yeah, you are going to draw some narcissists, just like my mother, into your life. And that relationship is going to be reinforced and be normalized to you, and not realizing that you don't have to be giving to be loved. You don't have to be giving to be, and I really didn't discover this until my second wife, and learning what love was. And it wasn't dependent on what I brought to the table, what I delivered, what I gave. And so in business and life, there are times, like I said, that I drew those types of people to me that wanted a lot. They saw the benefits of extracting value out of being partnered with me if I was delivering. But if I wasn't, it's tough, and it's tough to learn. And really, I'm very late to the game in figuring a lot of that stuff out. And I'd say without my wife, I would probably not have really realized that. And then over the last several years, come to see some of those players and the impact, and how much it's been hard. And I don't want to get into it too much, because I don't want to speak of people or things in that manner. But just my experiences and my learning in that, it's been really an important step to be able to identify and make sure that I've got the right people in my life.
Do you feel like there's an intuitive radar that probably should have been switched on when you were young, that wasn't, and now that you're in
because it's that same relationship, it's normalized, and I need to make those people happy. Like that's, and no matter what is happening, I want to fix it by giving more and giving more. Yeah. And it's not healthy.
Yeah. Oh God, there's a good question I had in there. Do you feel the word no coming up in you more? Do you feel it like internet interactions or whatever? Do you feel it more than you did before? Like since now that
Yep. The ability to create boundaries, to advocate for myself, no matter how new age, whatever that sounds. But these are things that, I need to be aware of, and need to be aware of that I am going to probably draw more of those types of people just based on, the relationship that I had with my mother, and how that has impacted me. And yeah, it's been an interesting experience.
Our first guest on the podcast was a friend of mine, and he's got this going on, curse of the helper man, not being able to draw boundaries. And it was killing him, Chris. It was killing him. Like hypercortisolemia, testosterone, just fucking in the basement, depression. He couldn't stop himself from helping. And his whole life was people who were completely reliant upon him being that guy. And he could get away with it. Like we were talking about, testosterone's fucking amazing, right? Like the resilience that chemical brings to us, we take it for granted. Then when it goes away or it's sunk by something, and of course it's more than just testosterone, but truly chemically, it's the fucking vehicle. So when that starts to go away, the ability of a man to be able to be resilient against crazy shit really goes down.
Yeah.
And it's lethal. That's what I've been trying to tell dudes that are just not, we're not in a society that's hip to male hormonal health as much as it is for women. Right. So that's another reason for the podcast is like, if there's a chemical foundation here to give us a little bit more resilience that we should be having anyway, we should have it, but because of our environments, we don't have it at the level that we need it. We need to go after it because it could save lives. Dude, I'm telling you, like, I wasn't like, oh, I want to be dead, but it was February of this year. This was 16 years of me fighting low T and trying to do it naturally. Right. And I was finally like, Jesus fucking Christ already. Okay. I'm going to go on TRT. Two injections, Chris. And I went from a guy who couldn't get out of bed this year. I knew it was going to happen. I knew I was going to go on TRT. I knew I was really sliding this year. I was fucking in bed. Like, I can't get out of bed. I don't want to go do stuff with my kids. 2 injections and I was back.
Yeah, that's the thing people don't really talk about with that sort of stuff is it's like it's marketed for get jacked, look good, but it's like the biggest impact with people I work with is right what you just said. Like that sense of well-being, the impact on your emotional well-being.
So everybody out there, I joke all the time how I'm like on one of the fucking testosterone TRT crusader. I'm not, I know, it's not, it doesn't solve everything, but people should be listening. There are people that are listening that I'm having these conversations with as well. Like, get your blood work. Your symptoms are there. Consider it. So I want to give you the last thing, Chris. We're a little bit over. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up today in terms of health, well-being, maleness, asking for help, any of that stuff? Do you have any thoughts? Any questions?
Yeah. I appreciate you promoting the Endless Evolution and the resources there. I think it's something I care deeply about. I do have a lot of content as it relates to the 6 P's framework and resilience, the physical nature of movement. So yeah, it's a free resource. Anybody check it out. Joining, you can actually get my book for free. But if you want to buy it, you can come buy it on Chris Duffin store too. As well as the Superhuman Healing Protocols, which actually, again, that's free for members. So it's a really great resource. Encourage people to go check it out. I think in the course of this, I've been pretty open and not left anything unanswered. So
yeah, we covered what I wanted to, like getting to the heart of the matter. But Chris, thank you so much for doing this, like sincerely. And thank you so much for being so open. Already the value of being able to connect with you and be in the community it's life-changing already. So I know I can't really get into the sort of the intensity of the protocols and the smartness of it yet. I'm still digging out of a pit myself, but I'm going to do my best to try to bring value to everybody in the community. And I know with your experience with people taking advantage of you, and I think you might have sensed this in my communication, I try really hard to make sure that, I don't want to do that. I know people take advantage of you, and I know they will. And I just don't want to do that. It's the last thing I want to do. Like, I don't want to.
Never gotten that feeling from you, and I appreciate it.
Right. Cause so I'm just going to make sure that that's cool. Give me, a couple, go ahead. Did you want to say something?
I was going to say any, like I said, I mentioned the coaching side of stuff. So that's my focus, what I'm doing today. And that is really what I love doing. I love helping people and helping people transform their lives. And we haven't touched a lot on the other aspects of the things that my expertise falls within. Although in the 6 Ps, I was talking a bit about the leadership component, but that is entrepreneurship, business leadership, all of that is within that realm. So I've got a really kind of niche focus that I do, and anybody that's looking within that, go check out the Enhanced Executive, and you can reach out and give me a caller if it makes sense. If not, that's cool too. I'm there if you need me.
Thank you, Chris. What is going on, everyone? Tis Miyanovich, and I welcome you to the main dojo, the place where we process the raw struggles of men in an unprecedented paradigm. There is something inside of you that wants you to be more than what you are. But there also may be something inside of you that wants you to go down. And for some of us, that means going down for good. So, remove your ego, drop your bullshit, become vulnerable, and step into the dojo, mate.